Noin.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. I think you all hear us, and greetings from Edufi. We will start the webinar on reporting for the year 2018. Greetings from our office and greetings from Helsinki to the southern participants also. It is snowing still a lot here in Helsinki, so I think we are drowning soon to the snow. Something about this today's program. We are going to talk about the general issues on the reporting system. We go through the timeline and the basic issues concerning the reporting, and then after each session we have time for questions, and which you can send us by chat, and then we are answering to the questions. Here in our office today are Sara and me, Kaija.
Hello.
So only two of us today, and it's very nice that you are able to attend to the second. We see that there are also participants who took part to the first webinar also. So feel free to ask questions. You probably have had now some time to go through the reporting template, and then you have more questions for us. Then actually shortly about the timetable of the general reporting of your project. You are actually you have already written one report to us, and now this is the second annual report that you are sending to us. That should be sent to us by 1st of April. The last day of March is Sunday, so we have given one extra day for you to submit the report. And then a final report will be submitted to us by the end of July 2020. We will provide feedback on the reports within 2 months, and these feedbacks are going to be slightly shorter than during the first reporting round, because I think there are quite a lot of same issues that we are reporting back to you, and then we are going to present the results in our coordinator meeting in the end of the May. For your information, this time these reports are going to the reports are going to be sent to the embassies in each countries. So last time we informed you that we are sending only the compilation reports to the embassy, but now we have been asked to send the total annual report to the embassy. So that is for your information, that the text that you are writing is going to be sent to the embassy. Now this time the reporting is focusing on the issues that have been that have happened during the year 2018, so that you probably have noticed that the data from last reporting period is visible for you. So you report only the issues that have happened during the, if there have been changes related to the previous year's reporting. So you report only the changes. And the changes now during this annual reporting time are actually there are two changes. Only that there is one extra new attachment that you should fill in. It is we have been sent a project specific result framework to you, and it was actually filled for you, and we ask you to check the pre-filled 2017 text and then add also update the 2018 results and to the attachment. And then the other change for the reporting for this year is that there is a new attachment, the project-specific events table, that is available on the HEI ICI website, and that should be updated for 2017 and also for 2018, and that should be saved as attachments in the VA system. Only long-term traditional mobility actions are to be reported online. So this means the traditional student and teacher changes are going to be reported online, and we have taken away the events table from the online VA system template.
Okay,
it's for you.
Yes. Okay. Then about the online reporting system, it's the same system than last year. It's called valtionavustusjärjestelmä, VA system, as I will refer it to from this point on. It's EDUFI funding management tool. And last week I sent you a project-specific link to everybody. So it's only for your project. So when you click the link, the reporting form will be there behind the link. As Kaija already mentioned, we are actually using the same form we used last year. So when you open the form, you can also see the 2017 reporting text boxes. So this is for you to maybe review your last year's reply, also to avoid repetition for 2018. So only fill the 2018 text boxes for this year. There are again 4 very simple steps for submitting the report. First of all, just click the personal reporting link you have received, and the link will direct you to the electronic reporting form, in which you can see the empty text boxes concerning the year 2018. So I have sent the link to the contact person according to our VA system. So if you have not received the link, maybe ask from your colleagues first and check your junk mail folder if it's there, and if you haven't received it or anybody hasn't received it, let us know and I will send you the link again. I have noticed that Internet Explorer is not really a good browser for this VA system, so I'm normally using Chrome, and Chrome is working very well for me. This is how the report form looks like when you open it. So you can see that there are already these 2017 text boxes filled, and underneath you can see the 2018 text boxes. When you write the when you are typing the report answers, you don't have to save anything. The system automatically saves everything you write there. But please make sure to refresh the page frequently enough, because sometimes it just kicks you out from the system if you don't refresh the page often enough. And you may update the form until the deadline. And any changes to the report after that will not be taken into consideration. So please fill all the needed information, and you can follow the HEI ICI online reporting Word document, which you can find from our webpage. This Word document has all the same questions that you can also see on the online reporting form. This is for you to, if you like, you can first fill the Word document and circulate to the partners, and then when you're happy with the answers, then you can just add them to the system. Then there are also attachments that you should attach to the report. Of course, the financial report in Excel format, like last year. Then the accounts extract of the coordinating Finnish higher education institution, and preferably, if it's possible, you could attach this also in Excel form, just to make our job here easier. Then if you have had any mobility periods, then kindly attach the mobility reports. There is no specific HEI ICI template for this, so you can use the reports and feedback documents of your own institution. And then, as Kaija already told you, we have 2 new attachments, training and events Excel, and then the project-specific results framework. And then after you have filled all the empty text boxes and attach the attachments, you don't need to do any separate submission action. So actually, when the deadline is April 1st, 2019 at 4 p.m. So after that, we do not take into consideration any further changes. So we can see the replies already here. You don't have to submit anything. So once the deadline is over, we will send you a submission confirmation email to the contact person. And this is so that you know that we have received the annual report. So again, about the attachments, so we will kindly ask you to attach the financial progress report, the accounts extract of the coordinating HEI in Excel format, if it's possible for you to send it as that. Then the mobility reports of staff and students. Those are the three attachments that were already last year. And then we have 2 new attachments. The project-specific results framework that I sent you last week in the same email with the project-specific link, reporting link. So as you might have already seen, we have pre-filled the results for 2017. So kindly double check those results for 2017 and then add information for 2018. And then in addition, we have you have to fill the project-specific events table, and that you can find on our webpage. Okay. So this is about the VA system and the reporting form. Now, if you have any questions or comments, we are happy to answer. And we have one question from Amani. Can we consider 1 week study visit in Finland as a mobility period? Yes, if this 1 week one week study visit is mobile period or for staff or students in traditional meaning. I mean, if it's part of student studies, or if it's a staff exchange period where the teachers have come to Finland in purpose of teaching. In that case, it is considered as mobility period, and you can report it under headline 8. In case if it's a training event or workshop, project-related training event or workshop, then it's not considered as a mobility period. Then you will report it as normal event. Johannes is asking, so the traditional mobility program should only be reported in the VA system, not in the additional attachment. Yes, that's correct. Okay, Amani, if it's a staff training event, then it's not mobility period. So then you will not report it under this mobility actions, but as part of your training activities in the separate training events Excel table. Okay. Lucian is asking, what if one person participates in mobility and also in a training event that occurs during mobility? Where and how is this reported? So, okay, first of all the travel costs, whether they are related to mobility periods or training events or whatever, all the travel costs should be reported under the travel costs. So if now one person is participating in mobility period, you will report it under the mobility period template. If he or she is also participating for the training event, you will also report that he has participated for the training event. But his or her travel costs are anyway reported under the travel cost in terms of financial reporting. Okay. Great. Good. Yes, Ulpu, the grants in the financial report template, that's for the student and staff mobility periods. So the travel costs that are related to that should be reported under travel cost. I actually think that when we visited Turku a few weeks ago, I probably said something else to Nina, but now I see that this is how we have done it before. So let's stick to this way. And so under the grants, you should report other than travel costs related to the mobility period. And the mobility periods are meaning only staff and student exchange visits. I hope I was able to explain it clearly. We have one question coming up. Roseanna is having a question related to tax issues. I must say that I'm not sure about this tax issue, and I think we might have to come back to you later on this one, or I don't know, Kaija, if you can.
First time.
So Ulpu, yes, accommodation, visa costs, etc. They are reported under the mobility period. I mean, in the grants budget item, yes. But then the travel costs, if there are flight tickets bought, then those are under the travel costs. Yes, Ulpu, only flights and buses and those, yes. Right. Johannes is asking if our professors travel to partner universities in the south to give 1 week lecture, where this should be reported. If the sole purpose of this travel is to teach, then it's considered as mobility action. Yes, even if 1 week, yes. Okay. If you want, you can explain it over mic and.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. And so I was talking with our financial department, and this is a very weird situation. I had a trip in Finland with one of our partners in Finland, and we were going to pay the travel costs for them. And our financial department said that we cannot pay their daily allowance or travel costs, because if we do, the person has to pay tax. And they're basing this on the tax regulations, which say palkansaaja. So the person is not employed by our university, so they would have to pay tax. And now this also, now if we pay flight tickets or train tickets for our partners to come here, then they would have to pay tax on it. And we're told that's what the rules were since last year. I just heard about it this year. Granted, I was away last year, but so that's the situation. And I'm just wondering how, if any other universities have this, and because that's what we're told, that's the rules now. And they say that this is coming from there were officials from the tax office at our university explaining this, and they say that the person, if we paid travel costs for another person working in another institution, then it's they're getting a palkkio. So in that case, it's taxed. But if we give somebody a travel grant, which also covers the costs of their flights, then it's not taxable, and then they buy the tickets themselves. The problem we have in our project is that not everybody has a bank account.
Okay.
So it can't be transferred. Of course, we do have we can transfer funds to our partners, but there's also issues with them getting the right daily allowance that we're worried about. So we'd rather have those paid directly through our budget.
Okay. This is okay. Actually, you sent us an email about this earlier, but this is the first time we heard about it. So I think we need to ask from our financial department about this, and we will try to come up with solution how to deal with this. So right now I don't have a clear answer for you, unfortunately. But if I will ask from our financial department, and we will figure out how to do this if this has been issue for others as well. So then we will come back to you later. Okay. Okay. Yes, that would be great. If you can forward the email to us, and we will go it through and maybe also to show it our financial people.
Perhaps Mervi is also listening this, so probably she can.
Yeah,
if
I'm
Mervi
not sure. Maybe
online.
Mervi is not here. Yeah. I can't see Mervi, but yes, we will talk to Mervi about this as well. Okay, thank you. I think we still have some question coming up.
Something coming from Hanna.
Yes.
Okay. So it is interpretation of the university.
Yes. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they are flexible on this in these cases.
Otherwise, it is really difficult also in other programs to actually to run the mobility programs.
Yes.
So that's
okay.
Okay.
So we will try to figure it out here. If we will get a clear answer from financial department and from our colleagues, I will then tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will
turn back to this.
Yeah, we will turn back to this later. Let's hope there is a way to continue to do this as we have done before.
Yeah.
So maybe we will go on to our next section then.
Okay, hello again. Now we are going to the narrative content of the reporting, annual reporting. And as last year, there are 9 sections in the annual report form. And the first section is you write the overview of the project implementation. You notice that there is examples. There is a place where you can actually write examples for communication purposes, and that section is meant to be a section where we could almost copy paste the text for the public use. So when you have when you are writing the section, so please write the most important success factors that you have gained during this reporting period. And you also probably noticed that there are no scaling this year. We took that off because it was really difficult to compare because the scaling was completely different between different projects. So we have taken that off. When we go to the consistency with the development policy, you report only if there have been changed during the last year. If there are new strategies in partner countries that are affecting to your cooperation or supporting the goals of your cooperation, of your project goals, and if there are some new approaches to human rights-based approach, so any actions you have had during last year, so please write about those to this section. And then something about the sustainable development goals. We noticed last year that all of the HEI ICI projects are actually related to the development goal number 4, but quite a few of your projects are also related to other sustainable development goals. So if you have not actually mentioned them in last year's report, so it is quite wise to write about them now to this year's project report. For example, the goal number 8, the work and economic growth, it is quite nearly related to innovation, entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship education. There are quite a few HEI ICI projects that are relating to that. And then clear energy, electricity, at least one project relating to that, and life below water, fisheries perhaps, and life on land, forestries. So if you have not written about those the relation of your project to those goals, so please do that this year. And then there is a narrative section of achievement of results. So only write about the results that you have gained during last year. So because the text that was written last year, it is when we print the the PDF version of the report, so the person who is reading the text can read also the last 17 years text. So as a continuation, please write only the results that you have achieved during last year. And you compare them with the planned results and are they potential for reaching goals. And then also the obstacles, solutions, and redesign. This is now actually the time when many projects are redesigning because they have had some challenges during the implementation time. And then identify successful activities to be continued during the last year. And sustainability is really a very important issue at this time, because at this stage of the project it is the time, especially the time to think about the sustainability. And please explain the concrete measures so far for sustaining project results at the end of the project funding, and for example accreditation processes. And then please write about the internal support of activities and involvement in Finnish and partner institutions, for example agreements with non-academic partners and formalization of collaboration, new agreements. And we are going to have the one of the topic of the HEI ICI coordinator meeting is the sustainability. So we are going to talk about the sustainability issues during that meeting. Then complementarity. So it is about the complementarity with activities supported by Finland or other development partners in the target country, region, or higher education institution, and synergies with other HEI ICI projects. There are lots, especially in some countries there are cooperation between HEI ICI projects. Please write about them. They are new ones compared to the previous reporting year. And then we are very curious to hear about the links to educational export activities and partnerships. Write about them also. And cooperation with non-academic stakeholders. There is actually a section in the new attachment where we are asking the numbers of the beneficiaries of these kind of activities, and especially cooperation with non-academic stakeholders. So please remember to write the numbers of the participants, for example, to the outreach activities. And if there are new issues to report in the project management section, if there are changes or something is missing compared to previous year's report, so please write about those. No repetition, please. And some projects have had project evaluation, internal evaluators, and so on. And this is the section where you could mention about those. We are very interested in hearing of those activities also. And if you have not explained the responsibilities of partner institutions, or if there have been any changes, so please report about them here. And transparency and possible anti-corruption monitoring. And then there has been, during the last year, there has been quite a few procurement processes, so some words about that also to be written in this section. And then there is a place where you could explain about the project visibility. There has been a lot of events and you have had actually a lot of activities, especially in this field. So we would like you to add the project-specific website. It is not possible to add extra enclosures to this VA system, unfortunately, but if we find the results and stories of your project from through the website, so that would be very good. And also the websites of the partner institutions. And please mark also the publications and articles that you have produced during this reporting period. Then we were talking about the mobility already before. So then there is, in VA system, there is only the mobility section left, and that is meant for the traditional mobility, teacher and student exchanges. So sometimes it is difficult to sort of divide which is which, but you can ask from us if you have problems in defining what is mobility. And then other issues. There is a place where you could write about other issues, and this is very important place where you could actually report the spin-off effects of your projects. Many projects have actually had other new openings of collaborations, for example, with the ministerial level, at the ministerial level. So please write about even if they were not actually the goals of the whole project, but please explain about them in this section, because we are very happy to actually bring them out to the knowledge of the ministry, for example. So this is the place where you can report these issues. Well, from this picture only, I would like to remind you that this annual report should be prepared jointly with the partner HEI ICI higher education institutions, and it has to be approved by the project board. We do not require you to send the minutes of the project board, but we are actually checking that during our monitoring visits. And describe progress against project objectives. So what is actually the progress that you have made during the reporting year? Questions or comments? That was shortly about the narrative content of the report. And as I was talking about the project management, so perhaps I would like to remind you to include a number of project board meetings to the report.
Maybe one thing is that this was already issued last year, but that the space where you write is limited. In most cases, it's only 1,500 marks, not words, but marks. So that's the maximum you can write, except about when at the results section. There you have 3000 marks space to write. So for example, if you are filling first a Word document, then just bear in mind that the space is limited when you move the text to the reporting form.
Any questions concerning the narrative part? I was actually testing the reporting form this morning. I opened, I don't know which projects form I did open, but it looked quite clear. Since you have had rehearsal last year already. Only the changes that have happened compared to the previous year.
No
Shall we turn
questions?
to the financial reporting then?
I guess.
All are asleep. Okay.
We can go on.
Yeah.
And of course you can, in the end, you can still ask if you have other questions from the previous sections. But let's go to the financial reporting section then. And well, first of all, we have not made any changes to the financial reporting template. So it's exactly the same than last year. So there shouldn't be any surprises for you. The Excel template you can find from our webpage, and it is advisable to use the same template you already used last year. There are different sections for each year, and then the summary section will automatically summarize the financial all the columns. So you can use the same template you already used last year. And then the Excel budget table will be filled, or you will be filled it according to our cost item principles that are defined in different project or program related documents. For example, HEI ICI program document and general terms and conditions of state aid, and the HEI ICI administrative handbook. And these all you can also find from our webpage. We have gathered here some lessons learned and some of the most common questions we received during last reporting period. So this is all just repetition. There is nothing new here. Maybe first of all to remind you that the total annual expenditure consists of 80% of the MFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs funding, and minimum 20% of self-financing. And this is calculated in the Excel template on the basis of total. So you don't have to report which is self-financing and what is MFA funding, but this is calculated as total. I know that last year there were lots of questions related to the self-financing share and how to report it, but I understood that in the end everything went very well, and the self-financing share was reported as it was supposed to report. So just do what you did last year also. Of course, in these in-kind services that is contributing to your self-financing share, just remember that you also have to record the working hours in these cases, so that you actually know how much these in-kind services are contributing to the self-financing share. Okay, and okay. Great. Okay, we are figuring out the technical issues. Then the expenditure by the partner HEI is to be reported, not the transferred amounts, but the activities and what has been done with the transferred funding. If it's okay, we will answer to the questions in the end, but you can of course type them already, but I will go to them in the end of this presentation. Then just to remind you that all the costs have to be actual and accurate costs, so you need to have the verifiable documents and receipts. You don't have to attach them to the final financial report, but for example, during our monitoring visits, we do the financial check where we also check the receipts and all the documents. And hospitality costs are non-eligible costs. So, for example, funds cannot be used for gifts or alcohol. If there were some this kind of costs last year and we didn't notice them, but if we have mentioned on those costs during our monitoring visits, we have told you to take them out from your bookkeeping for the year 2018. And then all the costs should be reported during the year they have occurred and when they are showing in your bookkeeping. So regardless when the actual activity happened. For example, if you will have a workshop now 2019, but you already paid the cost related to the this event during 2018 and it's shown in your bookkeeping record, then you will add to that to the financial report as well. Then, of course, make sure that the bookkeeping report and the financial report match. If they don't match, there might be some reasons why they don't match, then please provide explanation on the variation in the bookkeeping record. This can be a handmade marking or any. Also, not all the costs in the financial report are in the coordinating Finnish HEI ICI or HEI bookkeeping. Some of these are, of course, in your partner's bookkeeping. So in these cases, you could kindly indicate that in the financial report's comment field that this cost can be found from the partner's bookkeeping record. So this will just make our job easier when we go through the reports. Then about the changes, just to remind that all the changes in the budget more than 15% between the budget items, and in addition changes in key experts that are working more than 10 days in the project, or if there are coordinator changes or project board member changes. In these cases, you should submit the change request form to us. And you should submit the change request form before this change will actualize. So in case of 2018 annual report, you probably, hopefully, have already submitted all the change request forms. And you don't have to repeat these in the financial report anymore. You can just shortly refer to the approved change request form in the comments field. The minor budget changes can be explained in the annual Excel reporting sheet in the comments field as well. You don't have to submit any change request. For example, budget changes that are under 15%. Okay. Then a few words about the cost items. on our financial reporting template. The cost items 1 and 2 are for salaries, and salaries are of course allocated using timesheets in using the method of your institution in allocating the working hours. You don't have to attach timesheets to the financial report. When we are coming for the monitoring visit, then we normally go through the timesheets. So you don't have to attach them, just add the total working hours of each staff member to this Excel template. And also kindly remember to indicate the working hours of partners, of Southern partners and Finnish partners, or if there are services, in-kind services. In those cases also the working hours have to be marked. Then the cost item 3 is for grants for students and staff. This is now the mobility periods that we have been talking about. So in case there are student or staff exchange in this traditional meaning in your project, you will report the grants granted to staff and student here. But all the travel costs should be reported under cost item 4, travel costs. Yes, I hope this is clear, but if it's not, I will explain it you again if you have questions about this. Cost item 5 is for services and subcontracting. So if you have a Finnish partner higher education institution, then those costs should be reported under this cost item 5. And also then remember to report the working hours here as well. During the next reporting period, 2019-2020, there will be this compulsory auditing for each project. So the auditing cost will be then reported under this cost item also. Then cost item 6 is the overhead costs of Finnish Coordinating A. This is according to the full cost model in Finland. So each institution have slightly different overhead cost rules. So if you are not sure about these, then contact your institution. But anyway, the overhead cost percentage should be the same throughout the projects, and it's the same you have if you have informed us about in your application. Cost item 7 is then for the direct administrative cost of coordinating Finnish HEI. So in case there are some project-related admin costs that cannot be accepted under the overhead costs, then these are reported here. In some cases, catering costs can be these kind of costs, or for example, bank transfer costs or exchange gains or losses. And the cost item 8 is administrative costs for partner HEIs. So for partner HEIs in South, there are no overhead costs, so all the direct administrative project implemented related costs are reported under this. For example, photocopying or printing, or venue rentals or catering arrangements, etc. I will go through the questions in the end in a short time. We are almost done. The last is about the summary. And now I see that there is actually summary 2017, but I of course mean summary for 2018. So costs of the coordinating Finnish HEI and the Southern Partner HEI are automatically transferred to this summary page. So you don't have to fill them manually. But if there are partner Finnish HEIs involved in the project, those are not automatically transferred, so you should then report here manually. Okay. So this was it, and we will now go through all the questions, and if you just give me maybe 30 seconds, I go through the questions and answer them.
Training rooms.
Co-funding of training rooms. Okay, so Amani is asking, in case of co-funding, how we can report the cost, the co-funding of training rooms. I guess you mean if you have events, training events or workshops in your institution, or if you have teaching in these training rooms, and also other courses or other projects are using those training rooms, how you can report them. This is administrative cost. I think you should within your institution you should find a way how to divide the costs of using this training room, and then you report according to that. If I didn't answer to your questions, then let me know. Then Roseanne is asking about the self-financing. So self-financing 20% of total cost is clear. But last year we had a short on this. So how do we report the extra? So you should make sure now during this year that you report. I mean that you will that the minimum 20% will be covered from 2018, and in addition that the 2017 missing self-financing is covered. In the same way that you are reporting self-financing for 2018, you will also report the missing self-financing for 2017. Okay. Johannes is asking, could you repeat the costs related to mobility and where they should be reported, including but not limited to accommodation, visa, insurance, flight, grant? So costs related to this traditional mobility period, so student and staff exchange, they should be reported under the cost item 3, grants for staff and students. However, the travel costs, flight tickets mainly, they should be then reported under the travel cost. So all the costs related to traveling should be under this cost item 4, travel costs. But if you are giving grants to students and staff for this mobility period, you will report these grants under this cost item 3.
Eikö viisumikulut mene kans sinne matkustus?
Yes, actually, yeah. Yes, so not only flights, of course, because visa and insurance are also travel costs, so these also under the travel costs. So only the grants. If you are giving grants for staff and students who come to Finland in this traditional staff-student exchange meaning, those grants you will report under the cost item 3. But all the travel costs related to any travels, if you are traveling for training event, or if you are traveling to stay longer in Finland or in any country, then those travel costs you will report under cost item 4. Okay. Amani is asking. So you have some catering. I'm thinking about Amani's question about the catering costs. So if I understand right, you have catering costs that are under the subcontracting costs. And do I understand correctly that you haven't received any receipts for these costs that occurred maybe already last year, and now you don't know how to report them? I mean, you should report all the costs that are in your bookkeeping during that year. So if there are some costs that didn't occur in your bookkeeping in 2017, but the actual event already happened in 2017, but if the costs are only visible in your 2018 bookkeeping, then you will report them now, even if this event was already happening 2017. I'm not quite sure if I understood the question correctly. So we can report them as part of the administrative cost, which is yes, related to your previous question. Yes, that is correct. Okay.
Sitten siinä on Ulpu.
Then Ulpu's question, we have understood that venue rentals would go to subcontracting section. Should it actually be in admin costs? Well, I think this is not so strict. I consider it as admin cost, but now I don't know. I don't know if we have indicated in our HEI ICI administrative book that it should be that rental costs should be under subcontracting or administrative costs. So I think follow your budget, how you have budgeted that. If that's budgeted under subcontracting section, then report it under that. Or do you have any?
Yes, well, I'm wondering which venue rentals are they outside of the university, or
yes,
if they are subcontracted anyway.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, that was I was thinking that in these cases it's definitely more clear maybe to report them under the subcontracting section because they are these costs. Did I?
Johannes on tyytyväinen. Ja sitten...
Okay.
Sitten Rosanna, do we make a note that the self-finance is more than... Joo. Rosannalle voi sanoa, että yes. Vastaanko mä?
So Roseanne is asking, do we make a note that the self-finance is more than 20% in the column where it says additional information? Yes, you can indicate there. Yes. And then Ulpu, we have budgeted the flights, visa and insurance, etc. in the grant section, and now when they need to be moved to travel, we'll go over the budget in that section quite a lot. Is that a problem? No. Well, it's not a problem, but of course it's more work for you. But maybe to be to clear, if everybody are reporting travel costs under travel costs, then you should also do that, so that just that the overall financing is going in a similar way in each project. But of course, then if it's changing your budget, if the change between the budget items is more than 15%, you should submit the change request form. But this is, of course, this is due to technicalities, so we would of course approve the change request form. And then Armani is asking, the catering costs are not kind of hospitality costs. No, catering costs that are related to training events or workshop events or events in general, they are not considered hospitality costs because they are part of the training. Then if you have like meetings within your project themes, where are only meeting that only include project team members, then those catering costs I would not add for project costs.
Sitten Pramod on just sitä, mitä mekin yritettiin. Tai siis tossa, että...
Yes, so Pramod is putting it more clear. So maybe if it's rented outside service providers, it could be subcontracted. Yes, this is what we were trying to say as well. And yes, if it's within the university, then it's admin cost. Yes. So Ulpu, did you have this? If you already reported it like that last year, then it's fine for the last year. But now concerning the financial report 2018, you could now report it like we have stated here. So in this case, even that the costs have already occurred, you can still submit the change request form, but only if this change is more than 15%. Okay. I hope I have answered all of your questions. Any other questions? Okay, if you don't have any other questions at this point, but you will come up with the questions later, you can of course send us email. later, and at least we have tried to record this webinar. So if it was successful, we will upload it on our webpage, so you can go back to this later. Or those who couldn't participate this webinar now or last week can see it, the presentation, and then us talking here. You can see it later. I see that there might be some questions coming up. Yes, the slides will be there on the webpage as well. Yes. Okay, yes, you can do that. Okay. So if you don't have any questions anymore, we
thank you for now on, and then
yes,
have a nice time in filling the reporting for now. We are eagerly waiting for your reports here.
Yes, and if you have any technical issues or anything, just let us know and we will help you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day and rest of the week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.